Hello, I am Kumarman, and here I will teach you about the topic variables. And this is most used thing within the coding part, and within all the languages, it is basically used with the similar syntax. There is, you can say, only little bit differences, no, not very much. So I will teach with the reference of three languages. Firstly, that is C, C++, and Java. So let's get started. So what you will learn within this video, and what you should know before watching this video are listed below. That you should be aware of data types, because I am gonna teach the variables, so you should be a little bit aware about the data types within uh, your particular language you are continuing with, either it is C, C++, or Java. So, and the second thing is you should be familiar with printing functions. So in basics you must have gone through the basic functions like f and printf within C, and system.out.println within Java, and in C++ we basically use cout. So you should be familiar with these things, and also you should be aware of the data types. After that, keep in mind that this should be clear to you, because I won't be teaching these things, and if it is not, so kindly watch a video about the data types, and it is very much important, um, moreover than this print function, to understand variables. So please just get a brief knowledge about data types. It would the then only the video will be more beneficial for you. So let's get started. So what we will learn in this video is to know what is a variable. So firstly we will get familiar with what is actually a variable. Then after that, I will just make you visualize how the things work behind the scene. Means how, when we create a variable, what actually happens within the computer memory and all. After that, I will also teach you the basic syntax we use within different languages to just declare and initialize a variable. So these are our objectives, and one by one we will just cover it all. So first question is basically, what is a variable? So first question is, what is a variable? So don't mind my writing, it's not too good, but just you can see it clearly. So just I would like you to just carry on with that. So what is a variable? In some simple terms, if we just define it in layman English layman terms, that is basically, variable means something whose value is not fixed. Something whose value is not fixed. Value is not fixed. That we refer to as variable. So firstly you are getting to know that something which is not having a fixed value is basically a variable. Then after that, if we come to uh, basically knowing things like why is something variable, just because of everything, if everything would be static, or you can say constant, as we know that with time our needs change, and according to that, uh, everything changes, or you can say we need to change also. So similarly, like weather, day, night, or you can say light within on the earth, some things like this are variable. Why? Because weathers also change with time, where day or night, it is a factor of time only. So something which changes with time and whose value is not fixed is generally considered to as variable in layman terms, or you can say in basic English definition, it is nothing else. So what we came to know, that something whose value changes and is not fixed, so that's a variable. So after that, I would like to just wanted a favor that, see, I will provide you my knowledge in terms of package packet, sorry, yes. And what you have to do is just connect this, try to connect the packets. So, and if you will successfully connect the packages one by one, I will provide you the knowledge. And if you will just connect it with the others, you will just get familiar with everything in a very much easy terms, and very much what you can say, enjoyable learning, you can say. So first of all, what I covered was what is a variable in simple terms. But now I will tell you variables according to two factors. First of all, who are just who have taken PCM, so called physics, chemistry, math, I would explain them in a way of mathematical terms. And those who are not in this stream, then I will also tell it in a theoretical form. And you, either of these you are comfortable with, you can carry on with these. So let's get started with the mathematical term. So basically in maths, we study variables is basically a alphabet, and for a alphabet we declare some value. Is it so? Yeah, it is. Means we have from in 8th or ninth, everyone must have studied in maths, but some people hate maths. Sorry, sorry. So everyone, some people hate maths, so they would not like this way of understanding. But who have a basic knowledge of algebra, basically, so they will just get it. That in maths we basically variable, it is referred to alphabet carrying a particular value. So what happens is, in math we simply just write a variable name, alphabet, or anything like am, and is equal to 2. So what happens is, whenever there is written a am, we refer to as it is 2. If someone is saying that am plus am, it is basically 2 plus 2. That's it, nothing else. But when we come to coding, what happens is some things changes. Like, see, if we put a alphabet or some word, you can say, and its value, so what it is actually doing is, you are denoting something. So you are denoting that am carries a value, might be it x. So it is am, a word which is carrying a value. But what type of value? This thing, uh, in maths we similarly write as am is equals to 2. But when we come to the what you can say, uh, point of coding, we write it as am is equal to 2, but we need to specify that what type of data will this alphabet store. Yeah, something like, because it is an integer. So if you are familiar with data types, then you must have gone through that integer. So we write it as int. So what it signifies is basically In math, we usually used to write a alphabet carrying a value, but in computer, or you can say in coding, we have to also specify that what type of data the particular alphabet or word is going to store. So it's the basic difference, nothing else. So it's just a variable, nothing big, or nothing you can say different, but the same. So only the difference is that in coding, or you can say in any language, you need to specify what type of data you need to store within the variable name. With this variable name am stores 2 of integer data type. So basically it would check first that within that variable, if you are trying to store 2.2, which is not a integer, so it would give an error to you. It would tell you that how can you store it, because you have to specify the data type, then the variable name, and after that the value. So let me just write it. So what's the change here? Data type, uh, variable name, and the value. So this is the catch you need to remember. And I think that the people who are pursuing as PCM are quite clear, because it's not too hard. Only the catch is that you have now, whenever you will write a variable, you will first specify the data type, or you can say the data you want to store within the variable. So firstly you will just write the data type, after that the variable name that's gonna store the data, and the particular value it would store. So that's the catch, and this is only variable, so-called variable, nothing else. So after that, now I will come to the theoretical point of uh, what you can say explanation. So theoretical explanation, I would like to just tell you three words. That is perception. Oh, my English is too bad. Perception, retention, and then action. And with these three words, what I want to tell you that perception is basically what we see, what we see, and retention, it is basically what we remember, and oh shit, yeah, and action. And what's the conclusion we derive on this basis? I hope this is clear to you. Yeah. So, what's the conclusion we derive with these two? So, in human brain, you must have thought that you see things, you analyze things, and you take an action. But behind the scene, when you suppose you saw a cow and you have to run, so it doesn't works like you saw a cow, then your brain instantly tells that run. No, it doesn't happens. What happens is that when you see a cow, somewhere in your brain, it is stored first that you saw a cow. Then there is instructions according to that, that you saw a cow. Now according to this analysis, or you can say on this analysis will be done on this data, stored data, that you saw a cow. Then analysis will be done, and an action will be taken, that is run. Now what you have to do is run. So perception is what is here, that you saw a cow. Then what retention is, you you just remembered that, yeah, now I saw a cow. then what you have to do is basically done on the basis of, now that suppose there are pre-stored instructions that yeah, you saw a cow, then you have to run, then your brain will give the command that run. So the important thing that I just wanted to tell you behind the scene, that every time you see something, we need to store it, and store it similarly the things go on with a computer. So what I actually wanted to tell, that see, variable is basically a sort of memory space in which we store the things which we saw or which we want to remember. Sorry, not we, but the computer needs to remember. I think you understood. So, sorry. So, we basically store that what the computer needs to remember, because computer would just if you will tell the computer a is equal to 4, then he would listen and he would forget because you haven't stored it anywhere. Yeah. So after that, what you need to do, you need to create a memory. Suppose in computer's brain you have you already heard of RAM, and you have somewhere 1024 GBs, not GBs, sorry, MBs, sorry. Yeah, so MB. So some MB you will occupy, and in that storage area, you will store that A is equal to 4. Yeah. So similarly, what happens that if you want the computer to remember something, like anything, for which is required for our further process or something like that, then we will gradually just store it within the computer in form of a variable, in form of a variable. So how we do it is, first what I said, that you need to occupy some memory, and basically on the basis of data type, it would occupy some memory. Suppose we have to store integer data type, so what we will write first is int, and then we will specify the memory will be occupied for this int data type according to the, suppose int needs 2 MB, and it will be occupied within the uh, you can say RAM. Within the RAM it will be occupied, and after that you need to give the storage area some name, no? So basically we will give refer to as variable name. So that name we will use further to access the you can say the data at that memory space. So is equal to some value, suppose it is 4. So that's how it's referred to as, you create a variable and store a value or data, something, anything to it, like this. First we will specify the data type. Why? Because it would occupy some memory in the RAM or something like that. After that the memory is occupied, we need to give the memory some address so that we can just refer to it uh, when we want to use it in future anytime, so you can refer to it. So for that you are just specifying the data type, after that the variable name, and then is equal to operator and then the value, and in this way you can create a variable. Hope so you are good with these. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hope so you got this explanation theoretical, because I couldn't do much than this, but this only I could just I could come up with this only theoretical, because mathematical it was very much easy. Oh shit. sorry for the pen inconvenience because it's not good quality. So I think you understood in a theoretical way, and for the theoretical ones I would refer that you should just try more and more, because practice will more if you didn't understand, then practice would be a more convenient way to just learn. So after that, now I would like to just introduce you to something called how things work behind the scene. Now you have created a variable. You have just learned that how to create a variable is basically data type, variable name and a value. Okay, this much you have understood, I think so. And if not, you can just rewind the video. And once more, I want to tell you that please, if you are not clear with the data types, please go and check out these first, because this video would not be beneficial for you if you don't do so, because data types is a prerequisite for this video. I have already told that. So what you have done till yet, that you have understood that how to declare a variable. So in this way you declare a variable. But what happens basically behind the scene is, see, this is a RAM. Suppose it has some memory, X memory, not X, or you can say 1024 MB. Yeah. So basically we have what we have studied, that int, which is a data type, variable name is equal to 4. Okay. So what happens behind the scene when as an if you write int, then what happens is that the amount of storage needed to store a integer value is occupied within the RAM. Sorry, within the RAM it is occupied. Suppose for now it is like this much of space around, suppose 1 MB is required to store a integer value. So this much storage is occupied. It the what you can say, you tell the computer that just keep a amount of 1 MB, or you can 1 MB of storage for me, and I what I will do, that I will store a value in this storage, or you can say memory space. So what happens, that as an if you declare the, or you write the data type, amount of storage is occupied. So what happens for uh, amount of storage is occupied within the memory. Sorry for the handwriting, kindly go with the wordings, wording, wording according to the specified data type. Yeah. So what first happens is amount of storage occupied within the memory according to the specified data type. So for integer, the memory is just occupied. After that, we name that memory, or you can say the storage area. Suppose you got a room in a hotel with 304. That's the room name, or you can say something which can direct us to that room, particular room. Similarly, when we have occupied the storage, we give it a name, something like A, B, or anything which is like you can say very much which defines the space, or you can say gives a recognition to the space. Suppose for now I'm not just going on with the naming constraints. I'm just letting you know that if I gave the just name that A, and this name will be specified to this memory address A. Suppose you have a room with room number 304. So basically it is a direction or sort of identity for the storage area. So it's the name for the storage area. After that, is equal to operator assigns is used to assign a value. So what will happen, that is equal to 4. Then what will happen, that this value would be stored here like 4. And in future, whenever we will want to just access the memory, what we will write, A, and it will fetch the, you can say, value at the particular memory address. And if you didn't understand, just take a example of hotel, that you booked an hotel and it gave you a room with name number 304. Yeah, you went inside and started to live in the hotel room. And after that, if you order food from the hotel room, within this room you will order a food, then what will happen, that the hotel management would I will write HM. Hotel management will receive a request for the food, and it what it will do, that it will ask the waiter to go there where at 304 room. So by the use of this name, you can access, or he's able to direct himself to the particular area where he has to deliver the food. So basically something for direction, or you can say reference, we just specify a name to it. So in order to traverse, or you can say just access the value at that particular address. So like this we can have n number of types of variables, like with by changing the data types we can store multiple things within a variable, like if we change this to char, then we will able to store a character within this A, like that. Although A is not a good name, suppose A is suppose R. I am naming the variable as result, and if I am writing F, what it will signify it is fail or pass. I can write P for pass. So something like that. I am providing a result which is a useful, or you can more meaningful name, meaningful meaningful you can say name to the variable, because it specify that result. So what would be its value, that it would be either pass or either it will be fail. So in this way you have to just uh, name your variables, and there are more conventions that, and I would like you to just explore it on the internet. And suppose it will be your homework to explore the naming convention of the, because I don't think so that it's more to read or something to just understand in that. It's just theory, so you can cover it by yourself only. Explore naming conventions. Okay, though this would be a work for you, and remember that everything is important, like uh, spoon feeding is not done here. you need to just learn it, learn something by yourself and understand the concepts by me or by yourself also. Or if you are not getting it, I would definitely explain it or make a video on that. Just comment down. So after that, first I was writing the steps, so let me finish it. That what happened first is amount of storage occupied within the uh, memory according to the specified data type. Secondary, what happens, uh, name is specified to the to occupied memory. Yeah, so name is occupied to the sorry, name is specified to the occupied memory, just like I told you. Then after that, what happens? Third, variable is created and we can assign the value by use of equal to operator. So these are the particular things that work behind the scene, and this is how the variable is created and basically what happens within the memory and all things. So what I told you was that integer takes 1 MB, but it is not actually. The specified data types occupied by every sort of data type, uh, sorry, the specified memory for every data type is different. So another homework for you will be that you will have to you will find the different memory occupied by the different data types on the internet. We'll try to read the or go through the articles present on Geek for Geeks and many other sites like that, according to your language, which site is more comfortable to you. So after that, now as we have as I have told that I've the definition doesn't change within all three languages. So here you can see that in C language, this is the basic boiler template, and you are I think you might be familiar with it, and if not so, then first please go through the basic you can say that code writing practice, like this how, what is hashtag include and all, into what is int main and all. This is just theory, nothing else. So you can search for it and go through it. And if you don't just get on through it in or you don't get a video which teaches you in a easy way, or you can say layman terms, you can just comment down. I will just make a video on this also, no worries. And so I think you are familiar with this, so I am just heading on with the variable creation. So here you can see I have created a variable, and what I have assigned is a value of 10 to it. Similarly, in three of these languages which I am dealing with, same things are going on every time. So here you can see that I have just specified the data type, the variable name, and the value. And similarly in this, and similarly in this, you can analyze the things, and uh, means you can just take a screenshot and just analyze things, how things are going on. And I am not gonna teach the basic boiler template now because it would be a lengthy video. So here you can see that every time we are doing the same things to initialize or declare variables. But the one thing I would also like to tell you that if I just one second, if I, oh shit, I should have a Apple Pencil, but I have a cheap one, so no problem. But we will just carry on. So, what I am doing that if I write this only, let me select the pen. Yeah. So if I write this only, then what would happen is basically, oh, shit. If I would not initialize the variable, then what would happen is basically a memory space would be created with name A. And suppose if you have a room hotel, sorry, if you have a hotel with room, and in the suppose you have a hotel and you have the room within that 304. Yeah. So it is obvious that someone can come today also, tomorrow also, or day after tomorrow also. So it's not necessary that if you are just you have constructed a hotel now, and you need to just keep the customer or someone here. So similarly, here first we are constructing the variable, and what I have told you that this is the sort of reference for the memory space created. So what I will do now is equal to 10. So it is quite similar, or you can say basically it is similar to this thing. It is not different. They are both the same. What I am doing that first I am declaring it. I am making a hotel room. After that, on some day, customer came with that name 10. I have assigned that to it. And what I have told that basically we name to just access the particular variable, and that's what I have done here. That I have accessed the variable with the name A, and I have given the value afterwards. So no problem. It's the same thing here and here. Hope you understood it by yourself also. It was not something different, but I just gave a light on that. And similarly, this is the syntax in which we declare variables within every you can say every sort of three languages. And after that, now it's come to the things you have to do. So first you have to just go through the website uh, to get a brief about the memory occupied by every data type. Just forgive my handwriting and be more a listener. Ah, so website memory occupied. You have to go through the websites, many websites like Geek for Geeks and all you can go with, and you can just read the articles and find out how much memory the every data type occupies. After that, you have to try to just declare and initialize variables. Firstly, at once only means at time of declaration only. Hope you are clear with what I told. And if you are not clear with what declaration and all is, so you should rewind the video once and just to get your concepts clear. At time of declaration, declaration only. At time of declaration only. Oh, my bad handwriting. Yeah. So at time of declaration only, you have to just initialize the variable. After that, and vice versa. Means in short, you have to first initialize the variable, and after that, you will declare it afterwards, like I did earlier. So you must have understood this. If you haven't understood this question, I suggest you to just go through the previous slide, or the slide which in which I showed you the syntax within the every uh, language. and just go through that and revise that timestamp. After that, you have to try to perform basic DMAS operations. DMAS basically divide, multiply, add, subtractions, and all. You have to go through and just try to perform operations on this particular variables in order to just get familiar with the variables. And remember, the the time you apply the operations on that variables, then you have to store the result within another variable. Yeah, so keep in mind that you store the variable instead of directly printing it. Yeah, so because it would be a you can say good practice, because you being in an initial phase, it would give you more clarity on how things work. So that's all, and have a nice day. And I think everything is pretty much clear to you, and do provide your feedback within the comments, and if any sort of improvements is needed. So that's all for variables, and uh, I would just recommend you to go through the questions and all in order to make your concepts more clear, and to get things visualized in your mind. And these points are very much important, pretty much important, and keep in mind these things. And I think that sentences play a lot of role in my videos. So kindly, if possible, please keep a note of this on the papers. So in future, I would just connect it that yeah, I taught you, and you should just read it once, and you can just understand it. Thank you, and this was all for today. And I hope you understood. And if not so, then do write in the comments that what or where I need to improve, or some more information I need to provide you, and I would just do it. So thank you, and have a nice day.